over there. Hey guys, welcome to Business and Brews. I'm Gevin Vinson.
I'm Ryan Smeltz.
Glad you guys could join us. Thanks for tuning in. Real quick, we just wanted to actually recap the purpose of this of us getting together. This show our purpose is to shed a light on different types of businesses from the perspective of different business owners as well as professionals in that actual business world. I know for me, I always have questions about different industries and different businesses, and it's always good just to have a different perspective from people who are actually doing it day in and day out. So that way, if you are interested in that business model, you can actually see what challenges that person is actually facing and some of the things that they're actually working towards. So that's kind of our mission statement here. So what's been going on, buddy?
Not a whole lot.
And as you guessed it, the second portion of that is with Business and Brews is the Brews.
Of
So,
course.
so what are we drinking today, Ryan?
Absolutely. So this is my favorite since we're just gaining traction. But this is Sweet Baby Jesus. So as it says, it is a chocolate peanut butter porter, which is slightly out of left field for me because here lately I've been a huge stout fan.
Okay.
But this is definitely one of my favorites.
Good. Well, big shout out to Dupla. It is delicious. Well, I think we'll have a drink to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. So we're going to start off with a little bit of background about each other. Ryan, do you want to go first and tell them a little bit about yourself? Or
Absolutely. So, first of all, Gavin, thank you so much for instigating this. I really like the premise, and my number one goal when I do anything, whether that's just regular day-to-day work or putting out a live or audio, is to bring as much value as possible to whoever that audience is.
Absolutely.
I honestly believe just adding you to the mix, which was your idea, is going to double that potential.
Right.
So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Background on me, in case you can't tell by the shirt, I was in the Army for 10 years. It was kind of, I'm in college, and then they wanted me to pay for it, and I was tired of working and not having any money. So I went into the Army. After 10 years, I got out. One of the early episodes of my podcast, The Retail Tale, you hear, I got fired, I quit, I got fired, I got quit, I got fired. So I heard a Gary Vaynerchuk video where he said him and his brother are going around with their cell phones scanning stuff and selling it on the internet.
Yeah.
And that brings us all the way up to now.
Yeah.
It was basically, I do that with other people on a much, much larger scale.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I've had a chance to actually scope out your warehouse and some of the things that you're actually doing. You definitely are very successful in that. And, definitely a little background for you guys. The way we met was actually at an Amazon meetup. Yeah, so it's pretty funny. I mean, because, I never thought that, life would take this turn, but definitely good. A little bit of background about myself. I'm actually a realtor in the Triangle area. I work for Keller Williams Preferred Realty, which is here in Briar Creek. So I help service Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, Apex, Cary, the surrounding area. So before that, I was in the automotive industry for 13 years. Did sales management, finance manager, and of course sales, business development manager, and all the other steps on the sales department. So did that for a little while. I decided to transition into real estate. While I took that break, I did do a little bit of Amazon and e-commerce business there, which is how I met this gentleman, the bearded veteran, as he's known affectionately across the world. It's good to be in the presence of a celebrity.
Okay.
But definitely been doing that, and next month actually marks a year in real estate for me. So
Nice.
they were very, very excited. Actually, 10 months in with Keller Williams, so it's definitely been a good journey so far.
Yeah.
Been a good journey so far. So
Challenging.
so I think you're first up for the questions, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we want to do a little bit of a deep dive into the actual business model. So for those that are not familiar, like what would you call the business that you're in? Would you call it Amazon? Would you call it eBay? Would you call it e-commerce? Or what label would you put on it?
Definitely e-commerce.
Okay.
That's as generally specific as I can get, if I can say that.
Okay.
So there's essentially with e-commerce, as you well know, there's 4 primary pillars. That is logistics, education, product sourcing and development, and space to work.
Right.
Okay, so whether that's at home or whatever. So the business that my company is partnership with is basically offering all four of those in one central location, one website, one location. But with the logistics, that's warehousing space. So you're talking, products in and out. We have co-working space. Product development. For me personally, that was challenging because I'm not sure if you know Larry or not from the meetup, but he's developed home good products, and he had to, draw it out and then go to China, like messaging them and get 3 manufacturers. So he had to spend money on 3 samples and get them and decide, okay, those 2. So right there is money down the drain because he couldn't use it. With my partner at the e-commerce center that we're working on, that eliminates that struggle. Right. And then as far as the education, because what if somebody just wants to do it themselves? Right. So we offer the courses in that way. And then my company is primarily independently an e-commerce company. So Amazon, eBay. We also do Walmart, Sears, Newegg, some of the major ones, some of the more minor ones, Facebook Marketplace, Instagram. Right. And anybody that has an opportunity to do it, just like you did, fully automate the process. So that aspect of my business runs independently. That's
awesome. That's awesome. So if someone wanted to get started in e-commerce, specifically, I think the most popular one is Amazon, doing Amazon FBA. Yep. And for those that need to do a little bit of research on it, I think where you started was retail arbitrage, if I'm not mistaken, right? So you want to explain to them a little bit about what retail arbitrage is?
Sure. It's if y'all get a chance, Gary Vaynerchuk has a Saturday show podcast. It's on YouTube. It's called Trash Talk. And he actually does a form of retail arbitrage at garage sales. So that is finding that item that's selling for a higher dollar amount on eBay or Amazon, that's being sold at the garage sale for a low dollar amount. But with Amazon, Amazon FBA, fulfillment by Amazon, is hands down the easiest way to get in, low barrier for entry. With the app, the Seller Central app, you can literally scan it. It tells you if you're restricted or not. So it doesn't matter if you're gated or anything. You can literally just take your phone into Dollar Tree like I did, or Walmart clearance section, scan an item's barcode. You know whether or not you can sell it, how much money you're going to make, and all the ins and outs.
Yeah. So the thing that I think that attracts a lot of people to retail arbitrage in the beginning is the low barrier of entry as far as finance is concerned. I mean, all you literally have to do is download the Amazon app and you're off to the running. I mean, other than your startup, boxes and tape and that stuff as far as shipping, that's the only cost you really have in the beginning. Does that sound about right?
If that.
If that.
If that.
Better. If that. So I think that's it. So tell us a little bit how you made the leap from retail arbitrage to some of the other ventures that you've been going into.
Okay, so right now, it's a little interesting how I explain it, but one of the products I sell, you cannot purchase wholesale. Okay. So there isn't a distributor. You can't go to the manufacturer because they don't offer that option. Right. And it's not one of those where you have to have a brick and mortar store, and I don't. It's one of those that if you were to call them, they would say, seek out one of our distributors who are individuals. So a way to compare this would be Tupperware, Mary Kay, Avon. Okay. Right. So basically what we've done is we've created a reverse distribution, if you will. Right. And it all comes into one warehouse location, then we send it in for FBA. It's got high velocity, fast return. A lot of people are disappointed in the ROI that I see from it, but I literally don't do anything. Right. So we're looking at that. That's like the big chunk that I'm doing right now that's fully automated.
Right.
And then retail arbitrage, I'm doing all the work. I'm literally going to get the product, I'm paying for the product, I'm prepping it, I'm shipping it, I'm creating the shipping plan and the shipment, I'm doing all the work.
Right.
So all the work to none of the work. And how do we get from A to B?
Right.
So number one, I'm a firm believer, having learned the hard way umpteen times,
Right.
that you are who you hang out with.
Right.
So my friend Michael introduced me to the meetup where I met you, and I kept going.
Right.
So I learned from other people. Also, one of my recent episodes on my podcast, The Retail Tale, I talked about if someone gives you something for free, you take it.
So I love that. That is good. That's the wisdom right there. I love that.
I think that's a very short, simple way of saying that when you're given an opportunity, especially if you're, I mean, I understand some people's need to think through things, but I also believe that sometimes you're able to take action at the same time that you're analyzing something.
Right.
And so in the meetup where I've met other people, as well as learning how I can work with other people and we can help kind of benefit each other,
Right.
that's what's given me the opportunity to get where I am today.
Right. That's a very great point. I mean, and you know, for guys that out there that don't understand exactly what he was talking about in terms of arbitrage, what you're really doing is you're taking advantage of buying the actual product at a lower price and selling it for higher on Amazon or other platforms like he's talking about. And I think you also mentioned ROI, which is an acronym for return on investment. So that percentage or that spread there between what you actually purchase the product for versus what you're actually going to sell it for, and what you're actually going to truly net as far as profit. So, yeah, I mean, those are very valid points. So with that, I mean, it seems like there are a lot of people jumping into that business model right now. It seems to be very hot, especially since we're talking about Gary Vaynerchuk. You know, which I'm a huge fan as well of Gary Vaynerchuk. I mean, very, very, very practical and pragmatic advice that he gives. You know, with that, what are some of the challenges that you're facing currently in your business?
That's an interesting question, Gevin. So it's funny you ask that, because my knee-jerk answer right now is actually going to kind of sound like the opposite of what I just said. And that is, you know, working with other people, because when iron sharpens iron, I mean, much like this podcast, because you approached me and I thought it better, instead of splitting my time to do mine and this one, it would be better if we combined forces.
Right.
And I stand by that.
Wonder which one to activate. Oh, not talking about it.
So I firmly believe that when you can find, whether that's an individual or a team of people to work with, where you're gaining a whole lot of value from each other, that helps catapult.
Right.
And you see exponential growth that way. The biggest challenge I've seen in my business right now is the people that you may have chosen may not always be the best people for whatever project you're working on.
Right.
And it's definitely a challenge, because you know, especially if we're partnered, you know, in a scenario like this, I'm not your boss, you're not my boss. This isn't the Army.
Right.
I don't get to just tell you and you execute. Life doesn't work like that.
I don't know, you're bigger than me, so you might be able to tell me.
I'll learn that the hard way too. But yeah, you can't, somebody can't just go around barking orders and getting what they want or accomplishing whatever the goal may be. And oftentimes too, maybe that goal, you know, each individual has their goal, but the team goal might be, as they say in success, a moving target,
right,
or something that's moldable. So this is like the picture we have in our head, but that could change over time,
right,
depending on the wants and the needs of the group.
That's a great point.
Yeah, and getting to work with those other people and make sure that we facilitate that growth within the group is the hands down the toughest thing I've done in the longest time.
Yeah, that's some very great points. I mean, because, you know, I'm a firm believer that any successful business has to have the 2 P's, and that's people and processes. I mean, you know, you have to have good people, you have to have good processes in order to be successful. So
I like that.
You hit the nail right on the head as far as that's concerned. So, you know, just kind of wrapping it up, I mean, what is your overall vision of where this business is gonna go? Like, what is that you're driving towards to get to? Like, what's that light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing for you?
So, Gavin, I think that I have a tendency to think big, and I don't just mean big, but I mean like global.
Yeah.
Okay. So you asked my vision, and the truth is none of this was my idea.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a dream back when I was doing retail arbitrage, and I got centered on books
Mm-hmm.
to go purchase the books and drop them off somewhere and not have to touch them.
Right.
And in searching out the facility that offered that service,
Mm-hmm.
I found I think the closest one was Henderson, and I couldn't get in touch with them until James gave me the phone number.
Right.
At which point I had already decided to start my own used book prep center in the Raleigh-Durham area.
Mm-hmm.
So my goal of doing that lines up with this other person's idea. So it's not my vision alone, but everyone's vision.
Mm-hmm.
And where I picture that light at the end of the tunnel that you talked about is multiple facilities throughout the United States
Mm-hmm.
that offer those 4 pillars.
Right.
Because you've talked before about the bottlenecks,
Mhm.
money, time, space.
Mm-hmm.
And so these centers throughout the United States will solve those problems
Mm-hmm.
for e-commerce sellers.
Right. Awesome. That's a very big picture overview of like where you're getting to, and I'm sure you're gonna get there. I mean, you definitely have the drive and determination and the knowledge to do it, so it's just a matter of time, right? Patience and perseverance, right?
I like it.
Love it. Just perseverance. So enough about business. So I heard little birdie told me you're engaged.
Well, that little birdie was me, but yeah. So that was definitely interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
So our tentative date is May 8th, 2021.
Yeah.
Although that might be set in stone at this point.
Mm-hmm.
We have yet to pick anything out, which
Yeah.
is probably not a good thing, but we'll get there.
Yeah, you get there.
And we set it so far out just so I can kind of
Yeah.
get my feet on the ground, you know.
Yeah, no, I understand. The big thing is, I mean, just don't get too caught up in the day, because at the end of the day, no matter what happens, you guys are going to be happy with it, because it's the 2 families joining and just being surrounded by people that you love and just sharing that moment, man. I mean, don't get too caught up in the ancillary details, man. That would just be my advice, you know, as far as that's concerned. But yeah, I'm very, very happy for you. You want to shout out your fiance by chance?
LaToya Deans.
Yeah, there you go.
She's probably watching right now.
Oh, yes.
On the live version.
Make sure she gets the thumbs up. Please do a thumbs up. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so that's going well, and so it sounds like the personal life is going well as well.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So business and you got the personal life going well. It's all good. And did I also see that you finished your degree?
Yeah.
See?
I have that. Man, it's so fancy.
Yeah.
It's like this piece of paper.
You got a diamond encrusted?
No.
No.
I got a ring like that.
You got a ring, yeah. That's pretty good, man. That's definitely pretty good.
Yeah, I'm actually working on my master's program now.
Really? I didn't know that. You didn't tell me that.
It's because it's free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You take advantage of that. That's what you just said, right? If it's free, take it.
Yeah. So the school I'm in, when you finish your graduate degree,
Mm-hmm.
they offer you credit towards a class or something. So of course I'm taking that, and then in addition to that, I still have a short period left on my GI Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's some other resources I might be able to tap into to finish my entire master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll probably do the same thing with that I'm doing with my bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
Set it on my desk.
That's awesome. Let it collect some dust. I understand completely. I understand that completely, man. Well, good, man. Well, thank you for taking the time out today. I mean, we're co-hosting this thing, so eventually we'll have different guests, and we'll, if you are a local brewery, we definitely would like to spotlight the actual beer of your choosing. We definitely would like to plug it here on the podcast and the YouTube show and the Facebook Live. So be sure to catch us there. Where can they find you, Ryan?
That's a good question. Right now, So I always answer, and I camp out on Facebook Messenger.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody knows the taglines m.me/rm smelts, that's my personal Facebook Messenger. You don't have to be friends with someone to send them a message. So,
Right.
so hands down, because I can do that on the computer and on my phone, and oftentimes my phone is on the other side of the warehouse. So.
Gotcha. Yeah. With that big of a warehouse, that's a big task to
Yeah.
hike it on the other
But
side.
if you go to Google and type in @aVetsBeard, AVETSBEARD, Twitter,
Oh,
Tumblr, Instagram, Facebook, I don't even know, website.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, so definitely be sure to hit him up if you have any questions about e-commerce, or if you actually if you are a FBA seller or any kind of e-commerce seller that needs the services, definitely feel free to reach out to them. And
Thanks, man.
anything else for you?
No, I think that's it. We
Awesome, man.
should get ready for the next episode.
All right, sounds great, man. Thanks for your time. And we'll see you guys later. Thanks so much for watching.